Hey, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a great day. Uh, got another video for you. So with this one, I want to talk about the NBA. We know that they just had their All-Star break. The unofficial second half of their season begins on Thursday. So looking at the sprint of the NBA season now, that's the old cliche when the season starts. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But now with the fact that most teams are going to play about 25 to 28 games right now. Now it's time for the sprint part of the season. So, with this video, I want to talk about 5 storylines I think will be interesting to watch as we get into the post All-Star break leading up to the NBA playoffs. So, the first one's got to be the Bucks. The Bucks are kind of the story going into the All-Star break. They're definitely going to be the story coming out of the break. So as you can see, they have the third toughest remaining schedule in the league. Why that's important? Because going into the break, there's been a lot of talk from Doc Rivers about how he joined the team during their toughest stretch. Well, Doc, you now have that continuing for the rest of the season as their opponents are above 500. So, and there's some tough ones in there. The Celtics twice, the Timberwolves, the Thunder twice, the Clippers twice, Suns, Knicks. That's their toughest opponents. Now, look, their season isn't completely lost. They are currently third in the East. They are 8.5 behind the Celtics, so they might not have enough time to make up that gap. But they're 2.5 behind the Cavs for the 2 seed. So it's going to be interesting to see, kind of with the All-Star break, if I guess Doc and the team are re-energized, go into the post-All-Star. We see, I guess, more of Doc's brand of basketball. We see more efficiency offensively. I know that since Doc's gotten there, the defense has improved. Could we see more of that? Dame Lillard's going to have to, I guess, perform a lot better than he has so far. Because to be honest with you, first season in Milwaukee, kind of underwhelming. So the season's not completely lost because, look, they still have Giannis. So because of his ability, his competitiveness, you'd have to say that they are definitely contenders. But post All-Star break, can they prove to be maybe stronger contenders than currently? So I got the Bucks as definitely a storyline. Next one, I'm going to go out west to the Clippers. For the Clippers, look, the season didn't start off great. When they first got James Harden, the team wasn't playing all that well. But if you look at it now, they're all the way up to third in the West. They're only 2 games behind the Timberwolves. I guess depending on how you believe how much you believe in the Timberwolves, I think probably the Clippers a pretty good shot at this. It speaks to kind of the fact that the West kind of wide open, a lot of question marks. Because, like I said, we don't know what the Timberwolves will look like if they're, the hunted team as one of the top teams in the West. We don't know if they can handle that pressure. The Thunder are still very young. They are the 2nd seed, very talented team. But once you get to the playoffs, different animal. Denver's kind of hanging around 4th. They're only 3 back of the top seed in the West. Phoenix was another team that struggled at times this season. They're up into the 5th position. You have the Pelicans up there. So, like I said, the top half of the West, a little bit of uncertainty only because whether it's teams that are like newly formed, like Phoenix, or unexpected teams like the Timberwolves, we kind of don't know how the West will shake out. The good thing going, I guess, going for the Clippers is you have a seemingly healthy Kawhi. That will be a big question for them post All-Star break. Can Kawhi keep this up? Paul George as well. Can James Harden continue to play effectively? Who knows? We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see, what the Clippers do here post All-Star break. Because I do think, I didn't put it up on the graphic, but I do believe the Clippers have like a top 8 in terms of toughest schedule for the rest of the season. Not as tough as Milwaukee, but I believe their remaining opponents are above 500 collectively. Obviously, not every game is going to be against an opponent above 500. But, we'll see. Will we see a lot of Steve Ballmer celebrating on the sideline? Who knows? I guess for Clippers fans, you should be excited. But we have seen this from the Clippers before. Remember, some of those Clippers teams with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and those guys had really good regular seasons, then got to the playoffs, didn't really pan out. Can this group give Clippers fans an NBA Finals run? Who knows? We'll see. The Sixers. This is, mainly the Embiid factor, because Philly has been slipping since Embiid's gone out there. As it says right here, 3-7 in their last 10. I believe I looked it up, and Embiid is going to be reevaluated March 6th, and then we'll get a better idea of when he'll come back. I feel like best case scenario, he's evaluated on March 6th. Everything looks good. He's going to need some time to get back into basketball shape and all that kind of stuff before he can play. Who knows how long that would take. But I put up their schedule until March 6th to see kind of where they are once they get the Embiid news. And I wonder if depending on where they are, will that affect what the Sixers do with Embiid when reevaluated? So you got the Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics. All the teams ahead of them in the East. Then you have Charlotte, who, since their moves around the deadline, are actually playing kind of well right now. So we don't know what that game will look like. Dallas, pretty good team out west. Brooklyn is a mess. Memphis, because of injuries and everything, a mess. But that's a tough schedule coming out of the break. And look, the Sixers don't really have much wiggle room in terms of dropping in the standings because they're only 2 games up on the Pacers, who are in 6th. But if you fall below 6th, now you're in the play-in tournament. And the Heat and Magic are only 2.5 games behind them. So I think it'd be interesting to see, like, if the Sixers are in a play-in position and Embiid can come back, would they force the issue or give him a little extra time? We'll see. I don't think they necessarily could fall any further than that because once you get past Orlando, I feel like the Hawks are probably like 6.5, 7 games back. Like if it completely bottoms out and they found a way to be outside of the play-in by the time Embiid's ready, I feel like you probably have to hold them, but who knows? We'll see what the Sixers do. They did make the trade for Buddy Hield at the deadline. So that's definitely a move, like they're expecting Embiid back and they're expecting to make some noise in the playoffs because Hield fills the need that they needed in terms of perimeter shooter. Like I said, we'll see what the Sixers look like. This is probably something I'll revisit come March 6th and we kind of find out what's going on with Embiid. It's supposed to be reevaluated in a month. He had the surgery February 6th. That's why I'm just using March 6th. Who knows? It could be some other day around there. But just saying. As I just mentioned, the Knicks. The Knicks are getting a lot of buzz. Typically they do because they play in New York. One of the biggest markets in the U.S. So when the Knicks are doing well, NBA fans pay attention. They have Jalen Brunson, who, has really had a coming out party since he left Dallas, where he was, Luka's backup. Now he's a featured guy in New York, and we're seeing the numbers that he's putting up. The question is going to be, can the Knicks hold on post All-Star break? Or here's an or, could they actually be better? Because some of the guys I feel like that they have out right now are expected to return at some point post break. So if they were to get a little bit healthier, could they bump up from fourth to possibly like second in the East? Who knows? But look, the Knicks have a very feisty group led by Jalen Brunson. And look, as a Celtics fan, can I say that I'm rooting for the Knicks or anything? No. But I'm intrigued to see where they end up. They also made some deadline moves of their own. OG Anunoby was a little bit before, Bogdanovich, Burks, those guys. We'll see how they further fit in post All-Star break. I feel like they're probably going to be a top 6 team. Can they get home court advantage first round? Interesting. So yeah, the Knicks, going to see if they can keep up the hype. Keep fans interested, Knicks fans. Which, I mean, I feel like for Knicks fans, as long as they get playoff games, they'll probably be all right. But I don't know. You see every morning Stephen A. Smith talking about what orange and blue skies. He's fully bought in with this team. We'll see what the Knicks can do. And then final storyline. I mean, if you thought I was going to do, top storylines of the second half of the season and not include my Celtics, then come on now. I feel like it's very simple. Will they win the East in terms of the number 1 seed? I mean, they have a 6-game lead right now on the Cavs. I'm not going to say it's completely locked up, but it's probably a safe bet that they will. Porzingis, who's here in the graphic, his health is going to be definitely important to, how the Celtics' outlook will be come playoffs. They do have a lot of pressure on them. We heard All-Star break, questions about Tatum as an MVP candidate, questions of Tatum as a possible face of the league. Jaylen Brown with the contract, Porzingis and how he's looked so far, Jrue Holiday, Derek White. They're seen as the best team in the league. With that, plus with their past history of, losing to the Warriors in the finals or battling back from down 3-0 to losing Game 7 to the Heat, the expectations are finals or bust. And to a lot of Celtics fans, it's title or bust. Not just get to the finals, but win it. So we're going to have to see, what do they look like here post All-Star break? Does kind of the game plan change a little bit? Do they hold Porzingis out a little bit more? Because I know he currently doesn't really do back-to-backs. Do they hold him out a few extra games to make sure he's a little bit fresher for the playoffs? Do they, cut back on Tatum and Brown's minutes? Missoula has a lot of decisions to make, but I'm interested to see how well the Celtics look post All-Star. Do they just get comfortable and kind of coast into the playoffs and then try to turn it back on once the playoffs begin? So like I said, those are the 5 storylines for me. There were some other ones I thought about. Obviously, Warriors, Lakers out west. How do they finish up? Can they get out of the play-in? Can they get into the top 6? There's plenty of storylines, which is actually good for the NBA. The Heat, do they do Heat things? Kind of lay in the weeds all season, then decide to make that late push end of the regular season into the playoffs. I'm not buying into it this year, but we've seen them do it before. I mean, look, Dallas, I just talked about. Minnesota, can they prove? I mean, will they prove to be the best team in the West? Are they legit title contenders? I don't know. I don't think people are actually saying that about Minnesota, even though they are atop the West. You still hear Denver. People are buying into the Clippers. I feel like the Suns probably get more title respect than Minnesota. But if Minnesota finishes 1, as the top seed, you'd have to give them a shot at it. Now, the only thing would be with Denver sitting at 4, that'd be a possible second round matchup. I don't know how many people would necessarily pick Minnesota in that. But like I said, plenty of storylines for the second half. You let me know what your biggest or most important storyline for post All-Star break is to you. Let me know down in the comment section. Would love to see what you come up with. And do you agree with the 5 that I brought up on here? So, got the socials up here. Follow me on whichever ones you use. We greatly appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in as well. You know what you need to do. Like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate that as well. But yeah, thanks for clicking on the video. Make sure to leave a comment, like I said. Really want to hear what you feel about this. Let's interact down in the comment section. But be safe. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day. And until the next video, I'm out of here. All right. Bye.